Bringing you here another video to the channel. This one's going to be Matchday 11 for UCL Fantasy. It's the first leg of the round of 16. This might be your first video from me that you're seeing on the channel. I do a lot of fantasy content, primarily Brazilian League fantasy and variations of that, but I do other content as well. I covered a lot of the Club World Cup fantasy, yeah, and there's going to be a lot of interesting content coming to the channel, like World Cup content when that comes around. So if you're a fan of fantasy content, fantasy soccer, I may even do fantasy basketball. I'm a big NBA fan, and just soccer, sports videos in general. I definitely suggest you guys give a subscription to the channel. You might enjoy a lot of my future content. But enough with that. Let's go ahead and dive right into match the 11 here. Like I said, first round of the leg of 16. You can see my rank on the screen here. Doing pretty good right now. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys with better ranks out there, but this is with my few years playing this UCL fantasy, one of the better ranks I've had. So I'm looking to keep that up, right? But yeah, so let's go ahead and look at the matchups first here that we have going on, and I'll give you my opinion on my prediction for each outcome of the results, and then we'll look at some names that I find interesting, and then finally my team. Okay. Galatasaray versus Liverpool, first leg in Turkey. We know what Galatasaray is capable of doing in Turkey, right, guys? My prediction here is I probably see Galatasaray as favorites in this fixture, okay? Liverpool might score, but if I had to nail a score line down, I'd say 2-1, all right? Atletico Madrid against Tottenham. I think Atletico are favorites. Like, Tottenham have been able to play, better defensively in the Champions League compared to what they've, been doing in the Premier League. I think Atletico are favorites here. They might keep a clean sheet, okay, as well. Bayern Munich against Atlanta, guys. I'm a Bayern fan. I support Bayern Munich in Europe, but regardless of that, right? I still think Bayern, is up there among the better attacks in Europe. I believe statistically they are the better attack in Europe. They're just a dominant force, right? We see games in the Bundesliga, even games in the Bundesliga that are supposed to be hard, right? When they play the top table teams, it's just like a different tier. They're on a different tier. I think they're going to carry this over here onto the Champions League. I believe, Bayern Munich, even though they're away in Italy, I think they win this game here by possibly even more than a goal, okay? Clean sheet, maybe, but it's 50-50 for me, all right? Barcelona, Newcastle. I see Barcelona as 70-30 favorites, 70% favorites here. I know they're missing a lot of key defensive pieces now with Balde and Koundé probably out for both legs, I believe. They said 4 weeks yesterday. So I think both legs, but they still have replacements like João Cancelo that is going to get minutes, right? So it's you lose Koundé, you lose Balde, but you have Cancelo now that's going to play. You still have guys like Eric Garcia and Kubarsi, very solid defensively, right? And Barcelona's attack, you got likes of Yamal, right? Like Fermin. It's just, I think Newcastle have had their struggles this season. They've also, shown dominance here in the Champions League against weaker sides, right, to be fair. But I think Barcelona are favorites, guys. Arsenal against Leverkusen. Arsenal, right, arguably the best defense in Europe. We see them keep clean sheets, regularly. I think they're favorites here. They're likely to win the Premier League title. Each match day that goes by, they're more and more favorites. I see Arsenal here, guys. If I had to nail a scoreline down, probably 1-0, 2-0 Arsenal, keeping the clean sheet, all right? PSG against Chelsea, guys. I think PSG are favorites. Chelsea, they just don't convince me. I know they have their moments in the Premier League. They have their moments, in the Champions League. But they also have, their good and negative moments, right? It's a mixture of both. I think PSG just, they're going to find their groove again here, okay? We've seen them be a dominant force last year, in this stage of competition, in the knockouts. I think this could repeat again. I just think PSG, they have more quality. They're more trustworthy, in my opinion, okay? I see them winning this leg probably 2-1, 3-1, okay? Bodo against Sporting. Bodo we've seen what they can do in Norway. The surprise team of the tournament, if you will. I think Bodo are favorites to win here, okay, in Norway. I'm thinking 3-1, 2-1, Bodo Glimt, okay? Real, Man City, very tough fixture. Probably one of the tougher ones to predict here. It's we see this fixture time in, time out, right? Over the last few years. Very hard fixture to predict. I'd say both sides score. Predicting a winner is very tough, okay? Not a lot of goals, probably, okay? Probably not a lot of goals, right? Real Madrid are missing probably Mbappe this leg. Bellingham is out. But then again, they still have quality guys, right? Stepping up like Valverde. So it's tough to say. Okay, tough to say, definitely. Now that we've went over kind of my predictions for the matchups, um, I guess we could look at who. Like I gave you the leg one predictions. Who do I think goes through though overall? Very tough here. I don't know. Between Liverpool and Galatasaray, very tough. I think Atletico go through. I think Bayern go through. I think Barca go through. I think Arsenal go through. I think PSG go through. I think Bodo go through. And I think, dude, it depends really. This one is very hard. Just like Galatasaray and Liverpool to me. I don't know. I'm over the fence on this one. This is just kind of give you guys an idea when I show you my team to make more sense, right? All right, so let me look at now. I'm gonna bring up a list, guys, with some assets that I think you guys could look at. Okay. Here on the parentheses to the right side of the name is the price, okay, in the game, and obviously it goes from most expensive down to the least expensive of the list, okay. These are names that I think are decent for you guys to play this match day. So looking at forward options, Kane, really good, right? Like he's fixture proof. He's arguably the best attacker in Europe at the moment, right? Flying. Haaland, tougher matchup, right? Maybe we don't expect a lot from Haaland. It's a tougher matchup, but he's always an option. It's Haaland. Haaland can always show up and get his goal, right? Dembele looks like he's recovered. He's back in team training. Great option. We saw what he did last year in the Champions League, right? He's always a good option, right? I think. No, he's fixture proof. Like I don't care in the Champions League, he's fixture proof. Alvarez, really good option, especially for this first leg. Okay, for Atleti. Jokeris, he's been kind of getting. He's improving his goal contributions lately. So he's definitely someone we could look at. Arsenal have a very favorable matchup, I think. Well, not very favorable, right? It's not like a guarantee, but they're favorites, right? Osimhen, especially in Turkey. Osimhen seems to always do something when he's in Turkey, guys, especially in the Champions League here against Liverpool, okay? Ekitike, he's a name that I like in the second fixture. I'm planning on bringing him in for the Anfield fixture, but this one, he could still do something. I'd rather him for the second one. Havertz could very well do something in either fixtures, in either legs, okay? Luis Diaz I like a lot for both fixtures, okay? Like, it's very hard to predict who's going to feast up on that Bayern Munich attack. It could be that it's Kane, but it could also be that it's Luis Diaz, okay? Like, we've seen this in the Bundesliga this season. They share goals, Who's going to get the goals? Who knows, guys? Like, they're both very good, okay? Sorloth, a very good option. Coming off a hat-trick now against Club Brugge. I think a lot of the Atletico forwards, right, are good options, right? Especially Sorloth and Alvarez. JP, João Pedro, we see what he did now against Aston Villa yesterday. I mean, doesn't surprise me. I had JP at the start of my FPL season. He gave me a lot of happiness then. Like, I had to take him off, but he's just a guy that could score in any fixture, I guess. He's kind of fixture-proof too. It's just a matter of are Chelsea going to do good or not, right? To me, Chelsea as a team are not trustworthy, right? I don't trust them all that much. Ferran Torres, good option. It's just a matter of knowing if it's going to be him or like Levy, right? It's kind of could be hard predicting there. Hauge and Hoj for Bodo Glimt, I love both of them, right? I think whenever Bodo Glimt scores, you almost expect one of the two to be on the scoreline. They've been sharing goal contributions. One has 2 Player of the Match awards. The other one has 3. Both of them are in 7 goal contributions. I think both of them are awesome options. I see Bodo Glimt as favorites here in the first fixture. If they're going to get a result in Norway, these 2 guys are going to be a huge key part to that result, right? So I love both of the names, okay? And if you want to, I would probably have them for that Norway fixture and then sub them out. That's what I would do. Gonzalo Garcia, with the absence of Mbappe, could show up and, be a key part if Real Madrid are going to get a result, right? We know Gonzalo Garcia can get his goals, right? He's a youngster, but he's shown that he can produce. Midfielders, Salah, not my favorite name, but we know what Salah's capable of, right? In a fixture like this against Galatasaray, he could return in both fixtures. You wouldn't be surprised. It's Salah, right? Yamal, great name. I mean, he's been going crazy this season, coming off a hat-trick now. He's crazy, right? Like, he's on a different shelf. I think he's fixture-proof, too, in a sense, right? Vinny, he's like Real Madrid's main piece, especially in the first fixture now with Mbappe. We don't know if we're going to get Mbappe back for the second fixture. Right now, Vinny's their focal point, right? Palmer, great option. Chelsea's, penalty taker. Tougher matchup, right, against PSG. But if you want to have Palmer on your team, I'm not going to say you're crazy, right? Palmer's shown that he can produce. He's kind of fixture-proof, too, in a sense. Saka, great option, especially for this matchup against Leverkusen for both legs, I think. If Arsenal are going to get some goals, he could very well be involved, right? We expect him to. Rafinha, good alternative to Yamal if you guys like. Musiala, the minutes is a question right now. He's coming off an injury. He's ramping up now in the Bundesliga. So it's gonna be hard to see if it's gonna be Musiala or if it's gonna be where's Leonard Carl. Leonard Carl, I don't know, right? I think Musiala probably starts, but the minutes might be a problem, right? Olise, I mean, goes unsaid. One of the better mids in the game, if not right, like the best mid option in the game, right? He's crazy. He's undervalued. Like you gotta have him in your team, I think. Kvara and Due, both great options. I had Due in my team last night. I changed to Kvara just because I realized Due. If there's gonna be somebody in that PSG lineup that's gonna miss out and get like a random benching, I think it could be Due. We've seen that happen already. So because I don't want to have to worry about benchings or not, I just switched to Kvara. I know Kvara's gonna start. End of story, right? For 0.1 million extra, I'll do that, right? Barcola, great option, right? The minutes could be an issue, right? But he's a great option, just like Due, just like Kvara. Eze could be an interesting little differential for Arsenal. Vitinha, penalty taker, ball recovery, man of the match, good goal assist threat, awesome name for PSG, right? We know we know Vitinha usually returns, right, in UCL Fantasy. Gordon is an interesting option, but with a tougher fixture against Barcelona, right? Jabuzai, the set piece guy, gets ball recoveries, especially if he's going to play as a 10 for Liverpool, very good option, okay? Lookman, he's been tearing it up since he got to Atletico Madrid. Really good option, in my opinion, okay? For both fixtures right now in the round of 16, okay? Rice, good option for Arsenal, right? An alternative to Saka, if you like. Semenyo, he's just been killing it since he got to Man City. He's a good alternative name to Haaland, or if you just want to have a Man City, attacking piece. Cherky, alternative to Semenyo. For Min, I mean, he's underpriced for what he can do. I think Yamal and for Min, like, either one could do very well in both fixtures, or both of them could do very well. Min is just tearing it up. I think he's undervalued, just like Olise, okay? Enzo, he's an okay piece, not my favorite name. Valverde, kind of in the same boat. He had to assist the last game. He's kind of one of Real Madrid's main focal points now with Vinny, okay? Olmo, he could be kind of 50-50 to start with Min at times. I don't think they play together all that often. I could be mistaken. But a lot of the times one's a doubt with the other one. Just be careful in that, okay? Simeone is an alternative piece for Atletico Madrid I like, okay? Guler could be an alternative to Valverde. Neves could be an alternative to kind of like Vitinha, Due, and them, okay? Ball recoveries. He could get his odd man of the match award, okay? Jovold and Berg are midfielders for Bodo. Very good for ball recoveries. They've been kind of outperforming. I think Jovold has been kind of outperforming in terms of goal contributions. In the Norway domestic league, he hasn't done all that. He's okay. But Berg is kind of one that's been underperforming in the Champions League compared to his domestic league numbers. So he could be a very good name for ball recoveries. If you just need a cheap midfielder and you're confident that Bodo get the result, he could be a really good name. Patrick Berg, okay? He could probably start ramping up and getting some goal contributions, right? Along with those ball recoveries. So a very good name, okay? Like I said, Leonard Carl, I mean, if we know he's going to start, I think it might be Musiala. But Leonard Carl for that price, get a piece of that Bayern Munich attack, very good option for you guys, all right? Akgun and Yilmaz are names that I like a lot, especially for the first fixture in Turkey for Galatasaray. Guys that just can show up, right? Yilmaz just had a crazy good last match, right? He has both of them have really good numbers, right? In the Turkish league, so I like both names, okay? Fett is an alternative to Jovold and Berg. He honestly has better goal involvement in the domestic league than Berg and Jovold, and he gets his ball recoveries too. He could be a very good budget enabler for Bodo Glimt, okay? He could be a very nice name. Defenders, guys, that I like. Nuno and Hakimi got to be in your team. I think they're default. We know the goal threat these guys offer. Clean sheet potential is always there with PSG. Ball recoveries, man of the match awards. Both of those guys can get you those, right? I like all the Arsenal guys, right? Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Calafiori. Like we know, like Arsenal are almost always likely to keep a clean sheet. Most of the games they play, guys, I think they are likely to keep, clean sheets in both of these matchups. Like we wouldn't be surprised if they do it here in the round of 16, okay? A lot of the Barcelona guys, I like. There's going to be a lot of cool options now with the absence of Balde and Koundé. I like the likes of Gerard Martin for 3.8 million. He's going to probably play a fullback position now with the absence of Balde and Koundé. So he's going to be a really cheap option. He gets you the ball recoveries. He's going to play kind of like as a fullback. So Gerard Martin for Barcelona I like a lot. Cancelo, dude. Cancelo for 5 million. Like, we know what Cancelo is capable of, guys. One of the most attacking defenders, right, that we've seen in recent times in Europe, right? Like, Now with Kunde, without Balde, I expect him to start probably both legs here in the round of 16. And it like if you look at his heat map playing for Barcelona right now in the La Liga, he's very advanced. We kind of almost always expect, not expect, but we wouldn't be surprised if Cancelo, right, is on the scoring sheet, right, with an assist, with a goal, with both, right. Like he's capable of that. Like I think he's a really good name, right. PSG with Pacho and Marquinhos, they're all right, right? Like you could explore the PSG clean sheet odds with that. Guerrero's very attacking for Bayern if he's gonna play. I don't know really what the Bayern's fullback starters are gonna be. I like Bayern's defenders like Kim and Upamecano, good options. I think Bayern could keep clean sheets here in the round 16 against Atalanta. 8 Nuri for 4.7, I think is a decent price for him. He's been getting starts regularly, but that's the thing, right? Because where is he? O'Reilly, right? He's likely going to be back now in the Man City squad for the FA Cup matchup. And O'Reilly, we know, right? He's been playing as a midfielder. So he's probably going to be a better option. Is he going to take minutes away from Aiden Hurry? It's always a question, right, with Man City, what the lineup's going to be looking like. But I think O'Reilly, if we know he's going to play in the midfield for 4.1 million, especially what he's been doing in the Premier League, dude, he's like a probably like close to must have, dude, honestly. If we know his minutes are going to be right consistent. Me personally in my team, I'm trying to decide right now between O'Reilly and Cancelo. But if we get more like confidence in O'Reilly's minutes, dude, right, could be a great option. Pubo for 3.8 million for Atletico Madrid, especially now against Tottenham. I think for both fixtures he could be a nice little budget enabler on defense. If you need a cheap Atletico defender, Pubo could be a really nice option. Okay, goalkeepers, guys. I think just I'm gonna recommend the guys that I think their teams have a clean sheet odds. Okay, Courtois for Madrid. Neuer looks to be back now. He's gonna be back. Looks like against Mönchengladbach, so he's gonna be back for the Champions League fixture. Donnarumma for Man City. I think there's a chance, right? Oblak, I think, could keep a clean sheet against Spurs. Raya could be a good option, okay, for both legs. Garcia, I think, could be a good option for both legs, okay. I say probably Newcastle score in St. James Park, but you don't know. Like, Barcelona have shown that they could keep clean sheets in any fixture, really, in this season, okay, so. And he's really cheap, dude. I think you kind of got to have him, okay. I think you kind of got to have him for that price, but it's your team. You guys do what you desire, okay, so. Now let's look at what my team's looking like. If I could click here. So this is my team for last match day. If you guys are interested at all. Had that Sorloff differential. My team very happy about that. But let's look at what my team's looking like for the round of 16 first leg, okay? So this is what it's looking like, okay? I currently have Cancelo. Like I told you guys, I'm in a doubt right now between him. It's 50-50 between him and O'Reilly right now. If we get more concrete news on O'Reilly, it might be O'Reilly. But I like Cancelo's go threat, dude. I think he could be very involved here for Barca. So I'm very 50-50 between those two guys. It would be a negative if I decide to go with O'Reilly. Because as you guys can see, I have a lot of Wednesday players, okay? That could potentially be a negative, right? Potentially. There's another negative that I'll talk to you guys about here in a second. But potentially that could be a negative. Because I'm going to have, right, excluding keepers, of course, in terms of outfield players, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Cancelo right now for day one. Which means that I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as it stands day two players. So it's an 8-5 split. Not the best. It's not the worst thing, right? But if let's say I had O'Reilly there, we'd be at like 9-4, right? Imagine having 4 players day one and then 9 going to the second day. Let's say all my players performed day one. I wouldn't sub anybody in, right? I'm not mad. Everybody did good for day one. But then that means that a lot of the guys I have on the bench are going to go unused. Because realistically, I'm not going to sub guys in for my bench for other really good options I already have here for the second day. You get what I'm saying? The one negative is if all my day one players do good, I may have guys in the bench that go unused that I wouldn't even get to see them play. I wouldn't even have, I wouldn't get a chance to even look at their points. That could be a negative. That's why I'm really trying to keep Cancelo in. So I have the highest amount of day one players that's possible. I'd have 5 if I keep Cancelo, which is good. Like I have 5 guys. If three of them don't do so hot, I have 3 subs to come in, right? We're good, right? We have good replacements. So, like I said, there could be a negative in that sense that there may be guys in the bench that go unused. But If that happens, everybody in day one did good. I'm a happy camper, right? So could be a negative. The other negative could be day two captaincy. As it stands right now, I'm probably gonna look to captain Gabriel if Kane doesn't do good. There seems to be kind of a lack with the day two options. Like who I'd go for? Hakimi Nuno maybe, but I would rather Arsenal Gabriel. I think their clean sheet odds are better. Gabriel could get contributions. He could get ball recovers, player of the match awards. So I'd probably go Gabriel, but he's not my favorite captaincy option, right? I could go for the Bodo boys, but picking one or the other is 50-50, right? Like I'm sure whoever I pick, the other guy's gonna get the player of the match and all the fucking points, right? So I wouldn't want to go there. I'd probably just go Gabriel. So it's not. Maybe I don't even need to worry about day two captaincy, but that could be a problem, right? Besides that, I guess I'll show you guys my planned transfers going into the second leg. Okay, so going into the second leg, I would get rid of Hoj and Hauge. Okay, they're kind of like my day one differential bets, and then I'd be looking to get rid of Vinny, right? In the Etihad, I don't know about that. So Ekitike is definitely coming in for that leg in Anfield for me. Ekitike, if my computer would type, right, I can get him in. Ekitike, and then I'd be looking at either Mbappe if he's fit. I could afford him. Another good thing about this team, I could afford Mbappe if he's fit for the second leg. If not Mbappe, I'd go Luis Diaz, guys. I like Luis Diaz a lot. Okay, it's either Mbappe or Luis Diaz for me. Let's keep Luis Diaz for now. And then here in the midfield, I'd go for Min. Like I said, I love Fermin, guys. I would get an extra attacker for that Camp Nou fixture for Barcelona, home fixture for Barcelona. Love that. And like I said, I think overall Barcelona go through in the matchup. So this is like a thinking long-term kind of transfer. I would like to have Fermin in my team long-term. He's good for the second fixture. Vinny maybe not so hot for that second fixture. And the Etihad makes sense, right? So these are kind of like my planned transfers I have, okay? And yeah, I mean, like if you guys have any questions that I didn't answer, leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But like I said, if this video helped you guys at all, drop a subscribe and like. I'd appreciate that. A lot of good videos, interesting videos to come. And yeah, good luck on Matchday 11. All right, guys. Peace.